thing is portfolio management. We do portfolio management for people where we segregate properties within, if they want to do, if they have investment amount, we tell them what kind of investment, how to segregate it in, say percentage wise, different kind of real estate assets for rental, optimizing the income, managing your risk profile, and then we go ahead with the deal. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. We do not compete with all the conventional brokerages.
Very rightly taken, sir. As rightly said by Mr. Ajmal, there is, as usual, there is two sides of every coin, and we ensure our clients know both the sides before taking a call. Right? Thank you so much for your valuable insights, sir. I will move forward for the next questions, and it will be for Mr. Manikandan Nair, who is representing DAMAC. Mr. Mani, could you please elucidate the factors that set DAMAC apart from other developers in UAE? Question 1. And question 2, additionally, how does DAMAC's vision in the UAE market specifically cater to the Indian target audience? Mostly like concentrating on the first buyers, like first investors.
Okay, thank you. So I'm answering to your first question, like what differentiates DAMAC from rest of the other developers. Now, when we talk about DAMAC, DAMAC group company, it's been around 41 years for us in the Middle East. And when we talk about only into real estate, it's around 21 years that we have been into real estate. We have delivered more than 42 million houses, 42 million square feet of area, and under 28 under construction. And when we talk about the market share, we have captured more than 55% market share last year, which is for the first time in the Middle East for selling your properties. Tomorrow, if you want to manage those properties, we can help you with that as well. Tomorrow, you want to lease those properties out. Again, we have a sister concern company which helps you to lease that property again. Again, when we talk about leasing, we have two teams. One is for long-term rentals, one is for the short-term rentals. Again, which we help you to. In future, again, if you want to resell the property, the DAMAC can actually help you to resell your property as well. So again, as I mentioned, it's a one-stop solution. Talking about the people who purchases properties in Dubai, though we say Russians have been investing in Dubai, Chinese have been investing in Dubai, but always Indians have been at the top. So number one is still Indians at 19% for us. So investing in Dubai is as good as investing in any of the other states of India, I would say. And comparatively, the prices are lesser. It's more of value for money is what I would say. Like for me, I am born raised in Bombay. So for me, from Dubai to Bombay, it takes 3 hours. Same goes with Delhi to Bombay, it takes another 2.5 to 3 hours time duration. But if we talk about the prices there in Bombay, it's like actually touching the sky. But when we talk about the prices there in Dubai, it's the right time to invest into the Dubai market, as globally people have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mani. Can I just additional one question to you? Certainly, every developer has its own value proposition in the market, has its own kind of brand image or a unique selling point. I just wanted to know what DAMAC is offering something different in the market, so that our first-time buyers might be more inclined towards buying DAMAC.
See again, when we talk about the overall inventory of Dubai, only 4% of the inventory falls into branded. Rest are non-branded. Now again, 75% of the investors in Dubai are not from Dubai. So maybe a few of them may know about DAMAC, a few of them may not know about DAMAC. But when we talk about few of the luxury brands that we have, Versace, Fendi, Cavalli, and a lot of, so we are the only developer in Dubai, you can say, who has more than 200 plus strategic partners to rely with and we have collaborated with. So they can also, have an understanding about the association of the brand. So that gets easier for them to actually rely on a particular brand. So we have more and more collaboration with more and more brands.
Absolutely, and amazing kind of infrastructure about what DAMAC is, and probably they will get a more knowledge about it once we, have a one-to-one conversation with them over some detailed projects. Now, sir, now moving on to our next speaker, my question will be to Mr. Amit Khemkar. And basically, sir, I would really like to know from a legal perspective, what advice would you give to the investors pre and post investment? particularly in regards to anti-money laundering considerations, because quite lately there are a lot of new amendments which have become into all the financial transfers, what is happening from India. So can you please give us a little bit insights about this?
See, I would really like to start with adding to what Mr. Ajmal said or what Mani said. You know, today is the world of data and content. Today is the world when the youngsters which I see in the audience have questions. So the time is when the developer or the consultant must be ready to answer. One thing which probably you did not add was that DMAC or Mr. Ajmal's company, they are ready to answer questions of the investor. Because that is the key. It's not necessary to know what, the investor wants to know that the laws regarding the prevention of money laundering in almost every domain in the world are getting stricter by the day. The information exchange between the countries is now in a completely different league. It is on real-time basis.
So you mean that it is much more transparent than before as of now?
It ought to be much more transparent. Now you cannot afford to be not to be transparent. Everyone ought to be transparent. Everyone ought to be very careful. You cannot take that. You know that in UAE there is a lot of cash which gets circulated.
Absolutely.
Now, we don't know from where that cash is coming. So, even when you are taking an investment, a developer is taking an investment from whichever source, whether it is the actual buyer or it is one of the partners in the project, one has to be very, very careful about that part. Because the next question, they did not have VAT earlier, they have VAT now. They did not have taxation.
Corporate tax.
Now corporate taxes there. So they are on the way to have individual tax as well. And once you have corporate tax, then questions are bound to be there. Now the source of money will become important. So I feel that developers, the new age developers, even in UAE now, ought to be more careful and ought to be ready to answer even these questions to the investor. And ought to be ready with AML audit report of every project. That should be there. Like you have other audit reports. So that also ought to be there. And people getting into problems. And Vikas ji is here. He's one of the leading wealth managers of the country. We did one case where the person had no concern. But just because the transaction was with one of the colored persons, he was in trouble. So now this is my red flag to both sides that we need to be more transparent, we need to be more prepared. We have CA Neeraj Arora amongst us. He's one of the very leading chartered accountants of the country.
Welcome, sir.
Yes. So, thank you, Neeraj ji, for coming. So, I think that answers your question.
Absolutely, sir. And as you rightly said, that all the verticals in real estate transactions should be aware. Like from developer side, should be much more transparent. Agencies should be much more transparent. And this is how the market will be much more pure. But my point of asking you is, from an investor's perspective, who is probably investing, now we see thousands of transactions every month, every year in Dubai, worth billions of dirhams, right? But how an investor, what are the kind of preventive measures an investor should take, rather to avoid this kind of litigation or such kind of problems?
So I would say I'll just take a part of one of the investments from it.
Okay. Okay.
Now, if a person has to invest, he is an Indian resident. So the first and foremost is that he ought to have the permissions which are required.